Welcome back to Game-Based Learning in the World Language Classroom. The why, the what, and the how. We're on section 3 of my book, The How, and here's our opening theme song for this section.
Duolingo. It's the best way for you to learn another language. Duolingo!
I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese to high schoolers out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And if you want to talk about game creation with me, help me come up with new games, talk to me on the Minecraft Education Ambassadors, Roxem, studio-emo.com, or today we're talking some more about how I leverage Duolingo in the classroom. So meet me at the Duolingo Educators Network. Chapter 22 of my book. So in our previous episode, we were talking about why I use Duolingo, what I like about it, all the bells and whistles, the various perks about it, and how to make a classroom. Remember, when you make a classroom, it's free and your students never see advertisements. Okay? If you have living, breathing students in your classroom, there is no reason to have them sitting mindlessly behind a computer doing individual work. I know. A lot of people use blended learning and they love it. Okay, so I don't want to knock those people. But for me personally, I believe classrooms are for application of the skills. You should be communicating in the classroom. You've got people you can be talking to. You can practice having the words come out of your mouth. It doesn't have to be an individual thing. It should be a group thing. That's my personal philosophy. So I save Duolingo for homework when I'm not around to give that instant, quick, targeted feedback. But I leverage everything from Duolingo in the classroom. All right, so first of all, you need to know that Duolingo decided, 6 years ago, many years ago, they said, well, you know what, all the video games like Mario, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, all that, they all have their mascots, right? You've got Mario, you got Luigi, you got Bowser, blah, blah, blah. This works for all the video games. You've got Sonic with their mascots. And hey, we're kind of a video game too. Why don't we have mascots? And so they invented the Project World characters. And each of these characters has a different personality and a different voice. And they're super fun. The students love them. They are easy to draw. They're easy to write stories for. The students really glom onto their favorite characters. So I started doing my TPRS this way during the pandemic. So TPRS is Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling, and I've got other videos describing this. But again, just really quick, my first introduction to it was from Ben Slavic, although there are other practitioners of it. But that's my go-to book when I imagine this. So because we were online and I couldn't call students up to the front of the classroom, I just started using the Project World characters, which had just been invented at that time. And so I make it's kind of like a Mad Libs. I write a story and I leave a blank and I illustrate it with some Duolingo Project World characters. Okay, so here, Duolingo doesn't like something and I want the students to tell me what's going to go in this blank. Duo doesn't want something. What goes in that blank? Okay, so here, let me get this stuff out of the way. You can see some other examples. This class, I said, Lily likes to play, and I had a bunch of instruments because this class was begging me, can we please use the instruments? Now, I'm one of 4 Spanish teachers in my district, and so I kind of have to march lockstep with the other Spanish classes. And our textbook, which is Auténtico by Savas, doesn't introduce instruments. But here are my students begging to learn instruments, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let this slide away. My students want to learn instruments. By golly, I'm teaching them instruments because they're going to remember it because they want to learn it. So what I was supposed to be working on that month was the gustar. Okay, I was supposed to be working on she likes this, he likes that, I like this. And so I just made a really quick story and I had them choose a character and then I just put all these pictures up and then I could cycle through them. Does Lily like to play the guitar? No, Lily doesn't like to play the guitar. Does Lily like to play the cello? No, Lily doesn't like to play the cello. And I put goofy stuff in there too. Does Lily like to play the tambourine? No, Lily doesn't like to play. And eventually they chose violin. And so I added violin to the picture. All right. And the other class, because I had two Spanish one classes, they chose that she likes to play the ocarina. Okay, so she's playing an ocarina. Great. So each class gets something different. This was my French class. They wanted to learn animals. Okay, sure, great, let's learn animals. So Zari likes, and they chose a wolf. All right, but we went through a bunch of animals, and some of them were quite ridiculous, and you'll see later on some of the other crazy stuff they chose in another class. But anyway, the students, it makes it really personable to them. It makes them irrelevant. This is stuff they want to learn, and because they choose it, they're really invested in the story. And I talk about this a lot in an article that Duolingo interviewed me for, and I'll link the URL there if you want to read it in detail. But basically, in a nutshell, what I do is I go to the guidebook and I say, okay, what are some of the words, the phrases that we're working on in this section that I think my students are in? Because, I've got the data on my students. I can tell where they should be and I can tell what words they need to know. All right, so I say, okay, and then they want animals to add to that, or this is already in there, whatever vocabulary is already in there. I scour the internet for free clip art, and if I can find the free clip art from Duolingo, I've got a giant list of Duolingo pictures, and we have that on the Duolingo Educators Network if you join me there. And I just take a picture and I attach a word to it, okay, because I think that having the word written out there is more support for the students. And I know a lot of TPRS teachers don't do that, but I do, and I think it helps the students connect the sounds with what the words are. And before I start any story, I'm like, okay, you guys want to learn about instruments? Great. Okay, choose a character. So they choose a character first, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to choose duo, and who else do you want? You want Lynn? Okay, fine. So then I'll make a little note to myself. It's going to be those two. Great. And then I say, give me a day. And I run home. And I already have the bare bones of most of my stories written out at this point. And all I have is usually I have So normally there'll be a fill in the blank here. Eddie juega whatever. And I'll just have the fill. Oops. Because I'm in French. How did I get in the French? Okay, well, anyway, normally, gotta switch to English. All right. Normally, it'll be like that, okay? And then I'll say, oh, Eddie, well, I left my fuego off. That's great. This is why my videos are over 10 minutes, huh? Eddie plays, does Eddie play baseball? No, Eddie doesn't play baseball. And I'll do it in español. Eddie juega al baseball? Todos. ¿Eddie juega al béisbol? No, es ridículo. Eddie no juega al béisbol. This is called circling, when you just go over all the words. Eddie juega al lacrosse? No, Eddie no juega al lacrosse. Eddie juega al ajedrez? No, no es la verdad. Eddie no juega al ajedrez. Eddie juega al golf. No, Eddie juega al golf. So I'll just go through all that. Okay, and then they'll choose which one he plays. And my last one is usually something goofy. Here I got Monopoly. All my classes usually choose Monopoly. Here's one where Duo he likes to go camping. And he's going camping. I wanted them to learn some locations. So is he going camping in the classroom? No, he's not going camping in the classroom. Is he going camping at the mountains? No. So this is circling, okay? And so these are basically all the things I want them to know, all the things the textbook has. Textbook has Centro Comercial, so they've got to learn it so they can keep up with my colleagues. Okay, fine, but then I throw in some other stuff, okay? Parque, whatever. So that's circling, where you just, basically you have the same grammar over and over and over again. You're just plugging in new words. Okay, oh, here was one. Same one with the animals. Here's all the animals right over here, right off screen. Okay, I had a student who absolutely loved raccoons, so I added raccoon into the stack. And I had another student who absolutely loved frogs, so I added another frog into the stack. Anything to make it relevant for them. Okay, they chose that he likes how do you say this in English? Jellyfish. I can speak English. Okay, and then I have them name it. So now they're really invested in the story. This was Vikram, and he had to have he doesn't want, and we went through all the school supplies. This is like the second day of school. He doesn't want a book. He doesn't want um, a ruler. He doesn't want a pencil. He wants a pen. Okay, class, what color is the pen? Is the pen orange? No, the pen's not orange. Is the pen pink? No, the pen's not. And they chose that he doesn't want a blue pen. Okay, so that was great. And then because I'm doing it on a computer, it's super easy for me to just save it and title it so each class gets a different story and I don't get confused over which class is doing what. All right. So this is how like I spent a week one summer, it was right before the pandemic. I spent a week just going through and getting pictures off the internet and attaching names to it. Okay, so here we go. It's just a stack of food for this one. And I'm able to just really quickly say, okay, or I need a story for food, and they've chosen it's Vikram, and so I'm getting all the Vikram pictures, and so I can just go like this and cut and paste, bam, it's right there in my new flip chart. I'm using Active Inspire, but you could use PowerPoint, and just don't put it in presentation mode so you can move things around. You could do it in some interactive whiteboard. It's whatever you want to do. Okay, so and then again, I just write out my sentences here. I know things got changed. There we go. We'll go to Japanese because I just chose the Japanese stuff. And who do you want to do this? Lily. And then I'll say blank. Let's do this. There. We'll put Lily likes to eat blank. Okay. And so it's super easy for me. It's really quick. And then I just cut and paste the pictures in that I've chosen. And then I can just like circle through everything until the students tell me what it is that Lily likes to eat. So it doesn't take that long because I put in all this work ahead of time. Here's another of my pages. This is all the, these are like places. Okay. So it's so easy to cut and paste. The school, United States. Yeah, you saw all the places on the other things. So bam, just cut and paste it immediately. Super easy. So, and each class is doing a different thing. So even though I have the same bones of the story, remember that was all the hard work, was making the bones of the story. Now each class comes up with a totally different story. I had one class, Lily had a blue dog. The dog didn't want to eat croissant. And another class, Oscar had a cat. The cat liked to eat pizza, and now the cat was looking, they really took it off the rails. The cat was looking for a baby to share the pizza with. Okay, guys, that's what you want to talk about? Great, that's what we're talking about. Eddie was playing soccer, and every single time I imagine they're going to say Eddie broke his leg. No, they want something stupid. So in this class, Eddie broke his ear. So that's fine. When I'm all done with the story, we've gotten to the end. We've had a beginning, middle, and end. Repetition is the key to success. And also repetition is the key to success. And this method really, really uses the repetition. It capitalizes on the repetition because you've got all the circling that you do, but I get an extra amount of repetition because at the end, I take all my sentences, which remember I had the pieces left out, or I can take out new pieces, and I run them through. My colleague got a crossword puzzle generator. So I just type in the words really quick, and then I always use the, this took me a long time to figure out, but I write the word in the target language because they need to work on their numbers anyway, okay? And so then the students have to fill in, they have to remember the story, fill in, and then do the crossword puzzle. And so that gives them that extra repetition, and they're really thinking about the spelling when they're doing a crossword puzzle. Okay, I think I've talked a lot. Next time, talking about more ways to leverage Duolingo in the classroom. I'm at 15 minutes again. I apologize.